Hello and welcome, everybody. We're here playing Checkpoint Midnight Magic Missile Gap, session 2 of 3. Uh, I'm your MC for this evening, Alexi, and I'm joined by some lovely players. We're playing as part of the Gauntlet community. You can check out the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com. Lots of cool games going up every month there. And this particular game, Checkpoint Midnight, is the game that I am designing. It's a powered by the apocalypse game of supernatural operatives in Cold War Vienna. It's in alpha or beta testing, still working through it. But if you want to learn more about this game and be updated on its progress, you can check it out at bit.ly/checkpoint midnight list, where you'll see a little more information and get the chance to sign up for updates. So let's go ahead and introduce the players we have gathered here this evening. Players, when we come around to you, and we'll go in character keeper order for this, introduce yourself, the player, with your name, your pronouns if you wish, your online handle if you want to share that, and what's the best thing about spy stories in your opinion. So I will start us off. My name's Alexi, he, him pronouns, and you can follow my gaming endeavors online at Cloven Pine Games. So check out Cloven Pine Games on Twitter or Cloven Pine Games on itch.io to see my gaming adventures and the games that I'm designing. What's the best thing about spy stories? I mean, I just like people speaking in weird spy circumlocutions, right? And so I built a game where that could be a central component. So let's get out there and neutralize some assets as need be, people. So going ahead and Jim, you're up first based on this character keeper order.
Hey, I am Jim Crocker. I have been gaming for a long time. Folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet probably know me because I'm a retailer of role-playing games. I sell a whole lot of story games and small press role-playing games with my friends from Indie Press Revolution and Goodman Games at conventions all up and down the East Coast. You can see by the state of my face that I'm just back from PAX, where I did not shave for several days. So that is what you owe the pleasure of my my scruffy face here too. But it was a really wonderful PAX. I'm going to apologize in advance if I seem a little loopy. It's, it takes a couple days to recover from something like that. But we had a fantastic time. I got to say hello to Alexi there. Shoot, I have a selfie with him that I have to post so that I can get my free Cloven Pine game.
Yeah, post that selfie, Jim.
Yeah, put that hashtag up there. So if you're interested in what I'm doing with games, you can find me on Twitter at JimLikesGames, just like it sounds. And I have a website, JimLikesGames.com. And the fact that it is December 9th means that we are about 20 days from my posting my annual list of everything that I played this year, because I keep a little spreadsheet. So you will get to see all 200 and at the pace I'm going, probably about 230 games that I played this year, RPGs. And that's always interesting, for at least for me, to go back and see what the year looked like. So that's kind of the big thing that I have in my future here once I get enough sleep. So.
Yeah, you are a game-playing, game-running, game-selling beast, Jim.
It's kind of, it's the virtue of selling games like this full-time means that it's all research, right? Alexi, this is all for work. I don't want anybody to think that I'm slacking off or anything here. So my favorite thing about spy stories is that they are one step removed from urban fantasy, from the idea that there is let's be honest, what we're playing tonight is 0 steps removed from urban fantasy. So the idea that there is this secret world and it exists alongside our world, but that only certain people can see the signs of it, and that there's secret language and secret battles and all this stuff is going on literally right in front of our very eyes, but the mundane among us don't see it, and the people engaged in it are engaged in these colossal titanic struggles that will decide the fate of nations, but it all happens invisibly, or like proto invisibly, even when something crazy happens and there's tanks driving through St. Petersburg or something like that, it all gets hand waved away, and the actual existential struggle that's going on remains off the radar. And that's my favorite thing about these, certainly like these kind of modern spy narratives of the kind that we're doing.
Yeah, totally. That's super cool. Thank you, Jim. Jamie, you're up next.
Hi, so Jamie, they, them pronouns, please. So a little bit about me. I design a lot of games on itch.io. That's something of an understatement if I think about it. So I'm Temporal Hiccup on Twitter and on itch.io. I love designing games. I love playing games. I love running games. I love everything about games. I worked hard for the last few years just so I could get to a point where I had a flexible enough day job that I could play Gauntlet games and stuff all day. So let's see. I'm super, super excited about this game in particular because I love how it combines so many great ideas into one thing. I love how RPGs can deliver something that most media cannot, right? Like RPGs can really deliver a singular experience that we can all enjoy. So, but what I really, really love about spy stuff is I love falling in love with the wrong person at the wrong time. I love watching characters do that for sure. And I also really love how, so in these spy things, like it's all about them being really cool and really awesome, but it's always that their humanity is what trips them up, their vulnerabilities, how they don't trust the right person, right, at the right time, how they do fall for the wrong person at the wrong time, so on and so forth. Like those are my favorite aspects of the story. The will they, won't they trust, will they, won't they get through this, that kind of thing. And I definitely feel like this game exemplifies that in the connections and the bonds and stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm also really excited to play my character, Maria, because I just decided to take the robot from Metropolis and put her in this game and see how she's doing in 1950. She's doing okay. Actually, I think she's doing badly, but she doesn't know it. But she's happy. I guess that's what matters. So.
Excellent. And we'll meet the characters a little more in a moment, but great to meet you, Jamie. Finally, joining us tonight, jumping in, and thank you so much for your flexibility in jumping in here. We have Leandro. Tell us a little about yourself, Leandro.
Hi, yeah. So my name's Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. I probably have the least impressive CV/resume out of all the other everyone here because I don't design games. I just play. I just play games. Have fun with that. Actually, I did use Jim's example from last year to start putting a spreadsheet of my own. And either fortunately or unfortunately, I think I have Jim beat by 100 or so games. Let me actually look at the spreadsheet. Oh God, that's a distressing amount of games. 373. This is the 373rd one. It's
wow, out of 365 days.
Yeah, you can
not even less.
Less. You say it like that, and I just realized, wow.
You gonna sass him now, Alexi?
I was not sassing either of you. I am genuinely impressed and maybe a little bit frightened.
I'm more on the frightened side at this point, but anyway, it's been a fun year for sure. I'll probably put out that spreadsheet as well if anyone's interested. But for those who want to find me or stuff I do, I guess I do some stuff. Find me on Twitter at lpondoc. That's LPONDOC, not L as in I'm a luchador, so it's actually supposed to be pronounced Lupondoc, but I didn't think about that. Having to plug Twitter. I was not prepared for that. I guess the main thing I'll plug that I've been involved in is a podcast me and my friends did. It's an 8-episode short actual play of Ross Kalman's Fall of Magic. It's called Flight of Magic, and it's really sad and existential because of course it is. And I recommend it mainly because one of my friends, Devin, who is a musician and also a teacher, he edited this all together and also created original music for it. The music's great and sad. And it's all very sad and great. If you can Flight of Magic at your different podcatchers where we can find them. Please do check it out. What I like about spy stories is I like let's see. People already mentioned all the great stuff like close to urban fantasy, people getting caught up on the wrong sides. I like the notion of trying to distill this conflict between gigantic superpowers into individuals down the ground, and then the individuals realizing, holy shit, this is messed up. Why are we doing this? We're screwing over people, we're lying to people, all in service of some ideology, some fast corpus that will just chew us up in the meantime. It's a bit of a cynical take, but I like, I guess, exploring that sort of those cracks, and seeing all these people kind of like whether they're supernatural or weird or even just mundane people, just caught up in trying to service something bigger than them, or being forced to service something bigger than them in some parts. So that's a vaguely highfalutin take on this one I came up with in the last minute.
No, that's very cool. Good to have you here. Speaking of those individuals caught up between those great powers and sometimes being forced to serve them, let's start meeting our characters. So, Jim, tell us about your Rusalka.
All right, I am Ina Morozovia. Ina Morozovia. I chose the Elemental playbook with the Rusalka descriptor, and I was a Russian spy during World War II who was captured by the Nazis and tortured, and was part of their experiments into occult phenomenon. And as a result, I got brought back as a Rusalka, a vengeful water spirit. And so I have been kind of hanging around Vienna ever since, because I have found that whenever I get too far away from the Danube, where my Rusalka spirit, was formed or has some kind of an attachment to, I get very uncomfortable and I become increasingly anxious, and it's just unpleasant for me to get too far away from the Danube and Vienna, but the Danube kind of in general and Vienna in specific. So I can kind of my big thing is that I got a bunch of water related powers. The most significant of which is, if I can get somebody submerged in water, they're at my mercy. I can do whatever I want to them. I have got a sparse part with a single object of beauty in it, which is my huge Victorian clawfoot tub that I have kind of just in the middle of the floor of the main room of my studio apartment. I sleep in it like a bed. Of course, if anyone ever visits me, I throw some sheets and a pillow in there to make it look like I'm not just sleeping underwater, which is what I do. It's what I actually do when no one is around. But I have been at this quite a while, since the war, and so have become quite cynical, maybe even a little bit detached from my humanity. And I think we established last time that if it weren't for some of my friends, and Maria in particular, I might be even more lost than I am right now. So we will see if she falls into that abyss completely, or can be dragged back from the brink by her contact with humanity as we play. I'm really looking forward to finding that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think where we last saw Ina, she was taking a joyride in the car she'd borrowed from her CIA handler Brad on the way back from a fairly successful mission.
I was showing off to impress someone insufficiently in awe of me.
You were at that. Wonderful. And though we don't have the show off in this session, we hope they'll be able to rejoin us in the last one with Joey bringing back their character Marguerite, the Matago. But for now, let's meet our other already established character. Jamie, will you tell us about Dract?
Right. So I'm playing Maria, and Maria is a construct. Particularly, she's an automaton. I keep forgetting how to like pronounce that.
I'd go with
But so
automaton.
automaton. There we go. I was like, what? I haven't had my coffee. I'm just having it now. I'm showing it to the screen. So let's see. Maria has gold eyes, fluid movement, vaguely femme form. So if you can think of the robot from the original Metropolis movie from 1927, that's exactly what she looks like. And she lives in an apartment that she's squatting in. It used to belong to her friend, an artist who has gone missing. And she likes to collect mirrors because she likes to look into. She's so enamored by how humanity judges things by what they look like, because Maria used to have the ability to change their form and they no longer have it. And aside from that, what I like about Maria is that her highest stat is Dreamer. I kind of went overboard. I gave it another plus. So she's at +3 because my brain fritzed and I thought this is the labels were going to move like in Masks. So I thought, oh, I'm going to give myself like...
They can move. Just wait till people with leverage start talking to you about how the world works and what you need to do.
Okay.
To get into it.
Okay. So it's still accurate, because like in Masks, every time I play, I'm like, I'm just gonna like give myself a head start because I know everything's gonna shift later. That's my approach to Masks. But yeah, so but to me that just means that Maria really loves to connect to people, really loves humanity, really believes in humanity. And I think that's why they're so drawn to Ina, because Ina is losing that humanity, right? So I just love what's going on between the two of them. I also had a really hard time picking moves because all the moves were great from the playbook, but I picked this thing called a soul, and this machine kills fascists. So I think that already tells you what kind of character Maria is. But yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much for reintroducing Maria. I think when we last saw them, they were connecting and having a heart to heart with this Wolfgang, one of the goons of Boris Stepanovich, the man with the magic bullet that got stolen by our intrepid crew protagonists, and Wolfgang was going off after discovering that his boss had been knocked out and stolen from. So we'll see what Maria does next after the gala concludes.
Yeah.
Leandro, welcome. You are joining us, and you've done a good job filling in the character keeper. So tell us a little about your afflicted, and then we might ask some more questions to drill down on that.
Yeah, so I'm playing Deirdre Piper. Uses she/her pronouns. Her look is she's female. She is Irish. She's from the island of Ireland, so to speak. She's got tired eyes and stained clothes because she's not particularly the most. She never rises above disheveled state, I guess. She is, as mentioned, using the Afflicted playbook, and specifically the role I chose from that is the Haunted, which means that she sees dead people everywhere, and these spirits range from helpful to needy to wrathful, and she's she's learned to live with that. She ran away from Ireland years ago. We'll probably get to that later, and it's kind of flitted around the world, and it's kind of like vaguely known to most intelligence circles that, like, oh yeah, she talks to dead people, and she's not particularly like uncompromising about who she works for. The stuff she has, she mostly lives in a rundown rental apartment. She has a vast array of tape recordings, mostly of herself. Basically, if you've ever played BioShock, she would be the one leaving the tape recordings around, her muttering to herself. And it's mostly because the main person she trusts to talk to is herself, mostly. She talks to too many people as it is, most of them are dead. And it's usually they tell stories about themselves, and she never really gets to tell them about her because they just move in and out of her life because they're dead.
Can she record the dead people, or if she wants to hang on to those conversations, does she have to just like repeat them herself into her tape recorder?
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I like they did like the mechanical nature of a tape recording can't capture what a spirit is saying. So some of those tape recordings it would seem like she's talking to herself, but they're actually like conversations with dead people. But it sounds like she's having a one-sided.
I'm just wondering if you play the tape backwards, do you then hear them? Like I'm wondering. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, and it's hard to reconstruct because Deirdre's side would be backwards now, so it's a pain. So that's why she doesn't try to transcribe all that. She just records it, and then most of the time, yeah, she talks to herself about what she's doing, and like almost as if like because she doesn't know many people who are like her who talk to other people, to talk to dead people. So it's like, if she ever dies and no one talks to her, hear all these recordings about her, for sure. Jeez, I wonder why no one's ever like gotten leverage on her, given all this stuff she leaves behind. Yeah, and her charm, the thing she has when she holds on to when the affliction grows severe is this ink-stained rosary from the old country. But she hangs on to that for quite different reasons than what most people would, I guess. We'll get to that in a backstory. The other moves I took were nose for trouble, because you gotta have a move where you examine a thing and you get interesting questions off a thing, and maybe get into trouble for it. And the other one is say your prayers. It's repeating it when I mentally repeat a prayer or mantra to tap down my condition and play it close to your chest, which is a basic move, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Assuming because it was bolded, I can roll with advantage. But if I miss, it spills over. My affliction spills over, and yeah, that sounds fun.
So it sounds like, if I may, it sounds like you're excited to both dig around and try to get interesting information out of objects, and also to sometimes have to resist your affliction and see how successful you are at that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, so we've heard about your moves. We've heard a little about your gear. If it's all right, I'll turn right to our backstory questions here. When did you discover your affliction, and who did it make you hurt?
I think when I was growing up, I've always seen kind of glimpses of the dead. Never really got to talk to them until around when I was like a teenager. And I'll say right now, they're just probably like going into her 30s when we jump into this game. But when I was a teenager, that's when I really started like talking to them, and I thought it was a neat thing. It was nice. It's something no one else could do. Back in Ireland, I tried to convince a girl I was sweet on that I could talk to her dead aunt. She believed me, but her parents didn't. And her believing that, this girl was talking to dead, they thought she was, sinful and whatnot. And they decided to haul her off to a Magdalene laundry, which is, it's a thing in Irish history. It's not a good thing, for sure. And before they could do the same to me, I ran. And so inadvertently, I kind of hurt someone by like sharing this.
You left that girl there.
Yeah, I mean, the threat was I was going to be in. I had heard what was going on in those laundries. They're not great, and yeah, I ran before I could help her. So that's been weighing on me.
When you get a chance, I'd love a name for that lost sweetheart from Ireland. But tell me also, how long ago did you come to Vienna, and why are you sure it's where you need to be?
Been here for about 4 years. I did kind of just wander around. Can I ask what exactly year are we in? You said Cold War.
Yeah,
Vienna.
let's say in the 50s.
Okay, so she was a teenager. Sorry, I have to just do the quick maths. Yes, okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, yeah. So she ran off back late 30s, early 40s, and just been wandering around in the open place. I think Vienna. But she ended up Vienna around 4 years ago, just about when the war finished. And unlike most places that ended up here, and I don't know why Vienna's like this, the dead here is just so much. They're too varied, they're too voluminous, there's too many of them that they're so fleeting that they don't cause me too much trouble. That's what I feel anyway. Having come to Vienna, it's like there's a weird vibe to this city. There's so many plots and secrets, so many people who've died for those plots and secrets that like normally I'd get overwhelmed, but there's so much of it, it's actually just become like it's like swimming in the sea. Like, oh, the sea is big, but it's fine. The problem Deirdre's had in the past is when she sticks around for a place and she just gets to know the people who are dead, and she doesn't want that.
Oh, fascinating. So it's like, yeah, it's just the sort of metropolitan sense of there's so many ghosts, you never get to know a particular one unless you try to. And so it's become kind of like white noise.
Yeah, and I really don't try to.
That is fascinating. What lead are you currently hunting down for insight into your affliction?
I'm not sure where I heard this. I have to think through on how exactly I found this lead, but I heard talk among some other spirits that there is a spirit out there who was once like me, who was afflicted when they were alive in being able to see the dead as well. And I want to find them and ask them if being dead has given them insight as to why we can see the dead.
That is great. I love that. So you're working to find this ghost who might prove to be a kindred spirit, as it were. Do you have any kind of clues about who this ghost was, a name or a gender or a sense of who they were while they were alive, or it's just there's a ghost who has that thing in common with you, and that's where your investigation's beginning?
I've heard some rumors that like ghosts don't normally flock to each other. Like it's hard to tell if they even know about each other. But the fact that a lot of like different dead have said that they know of this person is making me think that's okay. This one's someone special. I think they give me a name, and I'm gonna make a reference to another campaign that I'm in, specifically Jim's Night Witches campaign. All I know is that this ghost name is Miss Papanova or something like that. And that's all I have is the name.
Sure. Yeah. All right. That's a lead to start with. Finally, a contact question here. This question will author an NPC. And for you, the afflicted, it is someone prominent in the city hired you to use your abilities to solve a mystery for them. Who are they? Did you succeed or fail? If you succeeded, gain leverage over them. If you failed, they gain leverage over you. So it's up to you, Deirdre. How did this go? And did it result in you holding leverage or you having leverage held over you?
Oh yeah, this is the one where I didn't have many ideas. My main one is I think whoever that prominent person is probably some sort of I was looking through the list to see what archetype we haven't had on yet. I'm thinking that there's someone who works for the KGB, or at least surreptitiously. Not many people knew at the time, but in solving this mystery, which probably involved talking to a few dead people, I learned about that fact.
You talked to dead people for someone with at this point in history it would be NKVD connection.
Oh yeah, the NKVD, yes, yeah. I think they pose as a singer, I think, for sure, and I think they are East German. At this point, yeah, East Germany would be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think they're meant to be working for the NKVD, but I think they slipped up and hired me to solve a personal problem for them or a personal mystery for them.
I see. It wasn't job related, as it were.
Yeah, so they messed up. I think it's a she.
All
I'm gonna
right.
look up. I'm gonna go German names. Give me a moment. But yeah, I think that's the gist of what I've got.
Okay, cool. And did you succeed?
Yeah, I think I did. If only because I don't know. I get a feeling I won't have much leverage on people, and I want to have leverage on someone.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So
Yeah, and also they're just not incompetent. She may be tired and like
haunted.
sad and haunted, but doesn't mean she's not good at sniffing things out.
All right. Yeah, nice. So once you have the name for that character, you'll also add them to your leverage, and we'll see the leverage that you have over them. Turning to relationships, I suppose. You got to hear a little bit about Ina and Maria, and do you feel like you have a sense of how you want to slot their names into those relationship questions of yours, Deirdre?
Yeah, I think I've got a good idea. I'm just not sure how to get to the point where I had those relationships. I think the first one is blank might be worse off than you. Why are you drawn to them despite your better judgment? I think that might slot into with Maria, because I don't know how I would have found out that you're not human, but
To be fair, Maria is not like particularly good at passing for human.
okay.
Yeah, I just need a big coat and a hat. That's all I have. Like, I
Maria-
no longer have the ability to pretend to be human.
Yeah, Maria's
Yeah.
disguise usually works on people who aren't looking very closely. So, like anyone who's gotten to know Maria has probably noticed that Maria is definitely a robot.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I think I'm drawn to them because I talk to a lot of dead people who like are kind of like who want to like figure out why they're dead or whatnot. How did they get to this? Oh why? And usually to Deirdre, she's figured out the answers because world's messed up, dude. It's chaotic and whatnot. But I think I'm drawn to Maria because she's kind of like she's trying to figure out where they came from and where they want to go. And there's still like something to look forward to that because being dead is a full stop. It's a period. Sorry, I use full stop. That's what the Irish use. I should clarify. I live in Ireland. And yeah, I think I'm drawn to someone who is remarkably different from human and remarkably different from like what I usually have to deal with.
Different humans and different from ghosts as well. Absolutely. Yeah. And does that work for you, Maria?
Yeah, and I was thinking there's also the possibility that Maria could never die also. Like Maria could just continue, because I remember Ina brought it up last time, right? Like there's just this continuing existence no matter what. So death is something that's not going to touch Maria. Like the concept is even if they're destroyed. But there's also the question of what happens to this thing called the soul. So
yeah.
Question, absolutely. And your other relationship there, Deirdre?
And just because I'm imagining she's quite a bit shifty. Blank is too interested in your curse. What angle do you think they're working on? Yeah, I mean, Ina doesn't have to be actually interested in my curse. I just have to think Deirdre thinks Ina's interested in my curse. Would she actually be?
Oh, Ina's thoroughly interested in your curse. Ina is interested in your curse because Ina is not sure if she's dead or not.
Damn, that's hard hitting.
if I can get you to like if somewhere out there in Vienna you find me, then that answers the most important question that has gone unanswered for me since I came back. Am I really me? So hell yeah, I'm interested in your curse. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because Ina died in the water, right? And then there's that question of did something else come back that thinks it's Ina?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. Am I an elemental that imprinted on Ina? Am I Ina brought back by an elemental? You know, like am I a plant that thought I was Alec Holland or what? So
I was going to say
yeah.
shades of Jean Grey and the Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that kind of thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Super cool.
it's absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man, Deirdre would wish she had those existential problems. She knows who exactly she is. She's a fucked up person who failed someone and is been running away from that ever since. Yeah. No. Okay. I think definitely. And I think the angle Deirdre thinks Ina's working on is way more mundane than that. She thinks Ina's interested in her because well, she's worked with Soviets before. I'm sure Ina is working for some other higher power and just wants to use me for
I mean,
something.
Ina just happens to be working for the CIA right now.
Yeah. Just happens. Sure. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Brad, her handler, has a test tube with a frozen tear in it. That is the leash he holds over Ina.
It's Bradley.
Bradley. Yes. Yes. So, the leverage question you've got there, Deirdre, can you read that to us?
Yeah, so your affliction can hold you back, but you'll need others if you are to defeat it. Give leverage to half the other PCs, rounded up.
That ends up being everybody, I think.
Yeah, everybody has leverage on me.
Oh,
for
no,
sure.
actually, half of 2 is just 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which one of them gets leverage over you?
Yeah, I thought it was both of them because I can't play an urban fantasy game without everyone having leverage on me. Every time I play Urban Shadows, I have debts galore. Yeah, I think it's probably the leverage would be to Maria, just because I would give her that leverage. Honestly, I wouldn't try to give Ina anything if I could. Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense. Maria had Wolfgang crying like last time. Yes, you can be a sculptor, Wolfgang.
He wanted to be a sculptor. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh no, I feel bad for Wolfgang.
All right, and Deirdre, you certainly end up with leverage over Maria as well, because the construct gives everybody leverage. Whereas Ina gives just the one person leverage, and I think that's already been assigned. I guess just doubling back to other players, Ina, we got a sense of what you want out of Deirdre. Do you want to say anything more about how you're picturing that relationship as we're incorporating this new character, or you think the kind of the quest for answers about your own maybe death is the thing that leads you to want to understand Deirdre and use her?
I think it's that, but like in my head, like there's got to be a thing going on where like I've been told she's off limits. Like that I'm not supposed to mess with her because like there are other plans for her.
You've been told by Bradley?
Yeah. By Bradley that she's hands off.
And that makes you think, okay, better keep my hands off and not defy Bradley in any way here, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, sure. Unless the mission requires it, circumstances force us together, something like that. I'm just, I'm not allowed to mess her up, which I could also interpret as, making sure no one else messes her up either.
Sure, absolutely. How about Maria? Any more sense of how you think Maria, thinks of this afflicted young woman here in Vienna?
Yeah. So I wanted to ask. So, sorry, how do I pronounce it again? Deirdre? Is that
yeah,
right?
Deirdre.
Okay, Deirdre. Got it. Why does she think she can talk to ghosts? Because I know you're trying to track down that spirit who can help you, but why do you think ghosts come to you? Why do you think they can talk to you?
She doesn't have like a definite answer, but the answer in her mind makes sense to her, and this comes from having been raised Catholic, and it's a lot of guilt. Therefore, is that like, or at least that's what she was told before she ran away. It's like these people, these dead talking to her were like temptations, and she kind of gave in to them when she kind of like shared this with this girl who I need to give a name to, and because she gave into that, so her affliction took hold almost, and now like she can't not see them. That's the quote unquote explanation in her mind. She's searching for a more rational one than that, because she would very much like to get over that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like the butterfly meme guy. Like, is this Filipino Catholicism? Like, it's like I feel that so hard.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. I live one half of my life. I lived over in the Philippines, the other half in Ireland, and it's all just different, all flavors of Catholic guilt.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can imagine. So I'm thinking for Maria, I actually wanted to. I have this connection with Marguerite and Ina, but I was thinking I could also add our haunted here. I want to think that yeah, I'm thinking she's foolish and clearly mistaken about her purpose. I will help them. Because I think clearly the ghosts are here. Maria believes that you are meant to write these stories, that you're meant to become a writer or a creator. There's a reason why they've come to you. It has to be because of art. It has to be because of expression. There has to be a reason that this is happening. So Maria's going to try their best to get you to talk to them and write their stories in some fashion. Like sometimes she'll be like, maybe a play. You should write a play.
I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That works for me. I'm the gears are turning. I'd like to just to turn real quick to the checkpoint itself and see if we have some thoughts on it, because then we'll probably, after a bio break, drop into play starting there. So the idea is, in Checkpoint Midnight, the eponymous checkpoint is a sort of neutral grounds where supernatural operatives in the city can gather. There are different versions of it, so we can choose whether we think our checkpoint is a cafe or a library or training grounds, a kind of recreational club type thing. Some of this is stolen from the way Jim handled Coven Prime in his wonderful Coven Prime run of Urban Shadows. I thought it was a cool idea, and so I am yoinking it for this game. For our players here, what do we think about the checkpoint midnight in our version of Vienna? What sort of place do we want it to be? You can feel free to take a look at the kind of moves associated with these, and but tell me a little about what you picture if you're thinking about where in our Vienna all these player characters and maybe NPCs of their ilk might gather and rub shoulders, rub elbows, I guess. Maybe shoulders get rubbed too. Who's to say?
Ooh, these all look good choices, though.
Yeah, the hope is to make it a difficult decision.
Yeah. I like the cafe only because I think it would be funny to have Maria in a cafe trying to start like poetry night or something. but I'm game for anything, honestly.
Absolutely. Ina and Deirdre, what do you picture? What appeals to you?
Yeah, I like cafe too. I think that is, but I very much want it to be, when we say cafe, like coffee house, not like a bar, not like Rick's Cafe American, but like Vienna coffee house, espresso.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
free newspapers.
like that kind of thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You
Hard
know,
agree.
fancy croissants and stuff. So
Yeah, work for you, Deirdre?
Yeah, I don't mind being in a cafe. I do all my best work in a cafe. Sorry, that's a reference to another campaign. That's not really a reference to Deirdre. Sorry.
Um, wonderful. And there's going to be some rules, some things that are the expectations set at this location. And basically, I've offered some options and suggested that we pick two that are kind of in effect, that are sort of the understood, agreed upon rules for all the people utilizing this cafe. And when you use the cafe move, you get a +1 if you are following the rules. So think about rules you are interested in following and or interested in being tempted not to follow. Actually, let's start with you, Deirdre. What's a rule you'd like to be in play?
Probably. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, they're all good rules to like try to break. I think probably. They're all really good. The first one I leapt to is leave all weapons checked at the door, because that's such a foolish rule to try and implement, because especially since most of the people here are probably our weapons. That speaks to like naivete of the.
it is honored more in the breach than in the observance.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm happy to have that included here. Yeah, Maria, what do you think about another rule we'd like to put
Ooh.
in place?
I feel like it would also make sense to have no using supernatural powers on another person. Like, this is supposed to be like you're supposed to feel safe when you walk in.
Yeah.
They're not going to take out their weapons. They're not going to use their abilities on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Check your guns, sheathe your claws. We're here to drink coffee, not to engage in fisticuffs. Wonderful. Since we've chosen a cafe for the checkpoint, an instinct I have is to let this be the Egyptian club that was mentioned in Marguerite's backstory, where she's got kind of a rivalry with the owner. We can double check with Joey and retcon that if need be in the third session. But that's the way I'm leaning. Does that sound good to people?
My inclination is to not have it be connected to any of our player characters.
Okay, just
because no kidding, neutral ground is my preference.
Okay.
Different type of cafe then.
And certainly we will get entangled with the proprietor and the people who are there and stuff like that. But I would love that our starting state to be we are all on the same footing with everybody there.
Excellent. In that case, I'll probably generate a proprietor name when we come back. But for the time being, call for a little bio break. Maybe take 10 minutes. See everybody back at 15 past the hour. Sound good? All right. See you guys soon.
Yeah, Alexei, I have a question about the system. What happens when you mark all your stress?
Yeah, then you take a condition.
Ah, fun.
Yeah, or I think it's when you have to mark stress and can't, clear your stress track and mark a condition. So kind of stress builds up into conditions.
Oh, okay. What happens if you somehow take all conditions, which I doubt it's ever gonna happen, but
So you'll see that one of the conditions is just MIA, where your character is down and out in the wind, though not necessarily permanently if someone recovers you. And it is possible. There is one move that might force you to mark MIA if you roll super high on the take serious harm move, which is something you roll plus stress. So
13 plus. Okay.
well, once you have one stress marked, it is possible.
No.
Hey, welcome back.
Hello.
We were just discussing a mechanic, kind of confirming that yes, if you take too much stress, it pushes to conditions. The kind of last condition is MIA, which just represents the fictional position that your character's been taken out and is missing, lost, totally in the MC's hands, where they wake up and in what condition they are when they do.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Lady Blackbird, where you can check dead, but it just means assume dead.
Yeah, I love that. Ran a campaign of Lady Blackbird that indeed had someone marking dead in the last session, and then triumphantly returning when they cleared that condition and proved they hadn't died when the dread pirate Uriah Flint had kicked them into his void eels tank after all.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. I love Lady Blackbird. I also love Ghost Lines. I love running Ghost Lines.
I don't think I've ever played. I don't think I played either, actually. I don't think about it. Yeah.
Out of the 370 something.
No, yeah. And look, I also have a separate tab of the different unique games I played. I played 80 different games this year. Not one of them Lady Blackbird or Ghost Lines.
See, this is what I feel like I'm like fighting this uphill battle to play all the RPGs. Like it feels impossible, but I will keep trying.
Yeah, you're busy making them, so it's fine. And besides, I've only ever started playing, I think, RPGs around July last year. So this is me catching up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but what's really cool though, in you catching up, you probably played more than most, because like I never trust anyone. I don't know, this is just my personal take. I never trust anyone who's been like, oh yeah, I've been playing for like 10 years or 15 or 20, but it turns out they only play like once a month or once every 2 months, and I'm like, all right. Like, I mean, that's fine, but don't be like arrogant about it, I feel like. But because we have like a lot of old RPG folks.
Sure.
Hollywood
I think we got to remember it's not a contest.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I should be proud of playing 300.
Certainly, if it were a contest, on some metric, Leandro must be winning with that look he's got.
Yeah, I'm not. I've reached a point where I think around the 250 mark where I should stop being proud of having played so many. And that was like how many? That's like 100 games ago. So
amazing. But that's so cool, though.
Yeah, I'm unsure whether it's cool or not. It's hemming and hawing over it. It does mean that like my experience is skewed compared to like other older gamers. Like I've never played D&D beyond one intro session in a cafe like a year ago, and that was it. I don't think I played anything trad beyond the Witcher RPG that Lowell ran 2 sessions for back in November last year. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of dice. That's a hell of a lot of dice. I do want to try to run or play something trad, if only because I do have a D20. I would like to roll it at some point. Never gotten
I
a chance to
recommend
roll it.
Lancer though. Lancer's
That's
really
what I
fun.
want to run. Yeah, Lancer looks really cool. Like, I did a series in the summer for the Gauntlet where basically every month I'd run a different mech game that's in development, and I wanted to run Lancer, but because that was just like the other mech games, at least easy-ish enough to. When I say easy-ish, one of them was Beam Saber, which is a Forge in the Dark game. So when I say easiest-ish to get the grasp, it's all relative. But I did want to run Lancer, and it's like I just didn't have the time to like figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I haven't run Lancer, but I used to run Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition, which is kind of like I feel Lancer takes the best parts of 4th edition and streamlines it. And you just have to make peace with the fact that you're not going to know every part of the game. Like, you have to tell your players, I'm going to leave it up to you to study your character. And in Lancer's case, you're a mech, you're a modular mech, because I cannot keep track of all the possibilities.
Yeah. That's what I'm really curious about. I heard the mech stuff is really good in modular.
It's so fun. It's so good. There's so many. It's the most creative mech game I've come across because it's so many different types of mechs. My character's like a full-on I love AI more than I love people, and all the mechs she can make are really creepy AI mechs. They're all like unshackled AI and stuff.
Hell
it's
yeah.
really cool. It's very cool. And then my friend is just playing a big one.
Looks like we are all back. So I'd love to launch us on in. So we began our story, let's say with a couple shots of the cafe, which I gave the name the Cafe Maria Theresa, and gave us a proprietor, Raphael Morgenstern, dapper gentleman, streak of white in otherwise darker hair, and he has he is kind of a well-known sight here at the cafe, often coming to check on people, that making sure they have everything they need. They are well beveraged and supplied with newspapers and are made fully at home here at the Cafe Morgenstern. The Cafe Maria Theresa proprietor Raphael Morgenstern. Love to paint the scene together and have each of you tell me something we see in the cafe, something that tells us this is a place where the shadowy and the supernatural side of Vienna can meet in relative comity and a more relaxed fashion than if they were running into each other on a dark rooftop at night, for example. Deirdre, why don't you start us off? What do we notice about the decor and clientele of Cafe Maria Theresa that tells us it's no ordinary cafe?
I think there are sections of the cafe that is sectioned off so that no outside light comes in. That's for your vampire types. So there are parts that are just there are parts that are just sectioned off and it's lit by light or candles. If the cafe is feeling particularly feisty, but most of the time it is by through electric lights. But yeah, I think there is definitely the outward side, the outward facing side of the cafe, which is out to the light, and that's where most ordinary people walk by. They can go into the closed off sections for sure, which I think it's denoted by there are just walls with windows, but the windows are curtained up.
Everything kind of nicely appointed, right? But for those in the know, where to go for the the dark, not evil necessarily, but dark side of this establishment. Maria, what else do we see that tells us this is a place a little unlike your average Viennese cafe?
I would say actually that there is a small closet that's by the door, and any robot that walks in, because most of the robots here in the city are servants or they just help out. And so anyone who walks in, they're allowed to like pick up a cloak or pick up a shirt. Like they're not allowed to usually wear clothes. They're always just, so this is one of those places where they're allowed to put on clothes. They're allowed to sit and talk to people when normally they're not allowed to.
Yeah, absolutely. And we established last time around in our version of Vienna, there are kind of serving automatons throughout the city, with Maria being a particularly advanced one, seemingly a little with some different capabilities than the ones that are more simple servitors. But so at this cafe, the robots are treated as a little more kind of full members of the society in here, including being clothed. I love that.
Yeah, I think they even like order coffee they can't drink, right? They just order it and put it in front of them.
Yeah, just to be part of the thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. They'll even like pull it up like politely to their face and put it back down.
Like, what sort of details strike the audience about this new place that we're getting to see, Cafe Maria Theresa and its supernatural clientele?
One thing is that the owner is an avid collector of maps and like cartographic ephemera. And so like there are particularly interesting examples of certain maps are like framed on the walls as art and stuff like that. And there are also that thing where like you can you can take like old paper and lacquer it to a wooden surface, right? So like all the tables in the cafe have various maps lacquered on them and stuff like that. And if you go around the cafe and look closely at them, you will find like a hand-sketched map of Prospero's Island as one of the things. You will find, like a street map of Brigadoon. Stuff like this, like maps of places that are just rumors or like don't exist or like are not known to exist commonly. There's a whole map of Vienna that lists all of the like trap streets and and I think almost certain like each of the table has a different version of a map of Vienna on it to remind us that this place does not stay the same. That there are aspects of it that remain, but that these great powers come and go, but that the city remains. However, whatever they do to it, the Danube is still there, and there are still people living on either side of it and stuff.
You've got the like kind of Roman era Vienna map. You've got Holy Roman Empire Vienna. Are there any maps of like occupied by Allied powers Vienna, or has that been conspicuously left out of this collection?
He only collects maps that were made before he was born.
Got it. A helpful dodge there. As if anyone was taking offense to the lack of
yes, yeah, no. If anyone asks, he will say, "Well, after I was born, I could actually visit any of those places, so I wouldn't need a map now, would I? Maps help me visit places that I can't go to."
Always charming and dapper, that Raphael Morgenstern. Deirdre, let's start with you. Deirdre, what has brought you today to the Cafe Maria Theresa, and what's your order when a waiter materializes and would like to bring you a beverage here?
I think Deirdre has ducked into the Maria Theresa, not so much looking for someone, but looking to get away from thing. I think she just wrapped up her most recent sort of endeavor, and involved having to tramp down near the Danube and talk to a bunch of it was like trying to find a needle in a stack of needles. She was looking for a specific person who died in the river. The river contained so much, and she found the person, but she's just tired, and I think she just ducked into the cafe to get something to eat. And she orders 5 scones, and has told the waiter to like, yeah, can you just hover around me and get me tea once I've finished drinking this. Which is probably an unreasonable demand, but I think Deirdre's a bit frazzled in the nerves at the moment. And didn't really think about what she said. But I think she's sitting down and scoffing down one of the scones and is like composing in her head what she's going to say in a tape recorder when she's out of here.
Absolutely. Is the quality of kind of ghostly presence in the cafe markedly different from the city outside?
I think here there's still, it's a bit different because she's used to dealing with the dead of normal people, but here you'll get glimpses of, weird stuff. I think if she looks out of the corner of her eye, and unless she focuses on it, it's always kind of in the corner of her eye, or
Right.
unless someone wants to catch her attention, she could see like, there's a werewolf over there daintily lapping at a teacup, and I was like, what the hell are you doing over there? And if she
And it's the ghost of a werewolf she's spotting.
yeah, it's a ghost of a werewolf, not even an actual werewolf. Yeah, and you can tell because, and I think she can tell because I didn't want to go with, oh, they look like who they were when they died. I think they look like how they want to present themselves, but it's always kind of performance, so it does look a bit artificial. So when if she looks at the werewolf, you can see that they're wearing this tweed business suit, but they're a werewolf. Which is like, that clearly has never happened. That's quite bizarre. And his hair was so groomed. Clearly he was taking care of it, but it jars. It stands out. But she sees out the corner of her eyes, like, all right, no, I've been dealing with ghosts. No, I want my scones.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of your most recent escapade, you made your way out of the Belvedere with your cat burglar friend, having acquired the magic bullet you'd been sent for. What makes you want to stop by the cafe and ask some questions before you bring the bullet to your handler Bradley?
You know what? I think I want to man, I don't know.
Do you have questions about the bullet itself? Is there anything that's kind of tugging at your mind after acquiring this thing?
Not really, no. I mean, this was like oh, you know what? I would want to I think I didn't know that what's the name of the guy that we took it from?
Boris Stepanovich.
Yeah, Stepanovich. Stepanovich seemed like he had some heightened awareness. Like he tweaked my spying on him.
He had a sense you were using water to spy on him from an adjacent room.
I was not prepared for that. So basically one of the things that you can use the cafe for is basically to lose a tail, right? Because if you go in there and they follow you in, it's neutral ground, and like you'll see them follow you in and stuff like that, and you can just walk right up to them. And so I think I'm going in there. I also suspect I don't know this, but I suspect that if he has any means of like spying or scrying on me, it's not going to work while I'm in the cafe.
The signal may get confused, right? Like
yeah,
the
that's
fact there's all this stuff gathered there might.
That's my guess. But basically, it's just kind of like to kind of throw up some chaff, and also maybe ask around and see whether anybody knows exactly the extent of his connection to the supernatural.
That absolutely makes sense to me. Maria, let's get you here as well. Do you think you're just playing the odds as to where it is going to turn up? Since I believe you came along on the mission in hopes of kind of keeping her safe and helping her hold on to her humanity. So I wonder if you're here for Ines, searching her out, or if there's something else that drew you today to the Cafe Maria Theresa.
Ooh, I feel like, is it, so it's the next day or is it right after? It's like,
It's
I
time
feel,
has passed.
I also feel like it's entirely reasonable that we said if we get split up, we meet back
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna say that.
Right,
Like,
the
this is one of the
rendezvous.
points, the
Yeah.
rendezvous point.
yeah, it's like a little time has passed, but maybe it's not the next day even. Just
Yeah. I was thinking that Wolfgang and I went for coffee to discuss his plans, like, because this is where Maria gave her leverage to Wolfgang.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, to talk to him a little bit just to justify that, and then I think Wolfgang drops me off, like, and Maria's even a little silly and goes, "Do you want to come in with me?" And I think he knows enough that he shouldn't be caught going inside there. So so he just drops me off, and I go inside. And I have a good feeling that Ina's going to be here. I'm not 100% sure, but this is one of our 3 main rendezvous points if we get separated.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Maria, I think the first friendly ish face you see as you come in is definitely Deirdre sitting by herself, scarfing down scones. Do you approach her? Maria, I was saying that you, as you come into the cafe, spot Deirdre
Sorry.
in there sipping tea, scarfing scones. Do you go over to her?
I do, most definitely. I just go right up to her. I sit down and I turn to the waiter, and I say, "The usual, please," which means and then they ask me, like, "Oh, anything in particular?" I'm in the mood for Hamlet today, and so he's going to go get me a book.
That's lovely. So they'll usually the waiter just goes over to where the complete works of Shakespeare are in kind of leather-bound copies here, and then like brings you, probably even like puts it on a tray for the for the novelty of the thing, and then like brings you over Hamlet on a tray. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this was a fine year. Absolutely, so much wonderful art was created this year." And I'm pointedly. It would look like I'm ignoring all the scarfing, all the scones, but I wait for a moment, probably when her mouth is most full, to be like, "How are you doing, friend? It's been a while."
Yeah, Deirdre was focused on the scone. She's been really hungry. And she jolts when you suddenly speak up. It's like, hi, hi, Maria. I'm doing okay. Sorry. So she realizes she's got crumbs all over her, and she starts wiping herself down. Yeah,
Oh, that's okay. Do you want me to get jam for you, or do you want butter, or?
No, it's fine. You don't have to do anything. I've got 3 left. It's okay. No, I've been up all night, I guess. How have you been doing?
You haven't slept again? I thought we talked about this. You're supposed to sleep every night.
Yeah, supposed to, I guess. Need to, I suppose.
I mean, I can only imagine what sleep is like, but I hear it's very important.
Yeah. We've established that Maria used to pretend to sleep to make humans happy.
Yeah, so she just stood there for she just laid down there for 8 hours thinking this is so boring. I don't know why they do it.
Yeah, I'm sure someone would say sleep is important, but stuff needs to be done. I've got work. I've got people to talk to. I don't mind. Honestly, if I could do without sleeping, I'd be okay with it.
Remember, we talked about this. You're more than your work.
Yeah, well, I know you say that, but I'm still not convinced. I don't have anything else,
Just checking, Maria. Are you backing up Deirdre? Do you think this rises to that level where you back someone up by offering them quiet solace or vocal support?
Yes. I was going to, most definitely, hoping to trigger that.
Yeah. And do you think this thing called a soul comes in here when you explain how someone exemplifies what is unique and fascinating about humanity?
Yeah, because I think I want to tell her it's so fascinating how humans are so hard on themselves. It's easier for them to be kinder to others, but they're so hard on themselves. And I feel like she exemplifies that. She's so kind to the ghosts and to other people, but she doesn't take care of herself. So I will. Let's see. I'm just double checking the move, just to make sure. Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so I'm going to roll with advantage.
Yeah, 3 dice there.
Yes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Monster hit. Monster hit on back someone up. So how this works is on a hit, a PC can clear a stress, mark XP with a faction of their choice, or shift their own labels if they show you a glimpse of their true self. And on a 10 plus, you, the person who are backing them up, can also clear a stress or take a chit. Maria, do you have any stress marked right now?
No, but I will take that chit.
Yeah, take that chit. That's the thing you can cash in later for giving advantage to yourself or someone else. And Deirdre, do you show a glimpse of your true self?
Yeah, and I think Maria would absolutely notice this because she's very perceptive. It seems. I think Deirdre mentioned this once. The waiters brought the copy of Hamlet over, and I think Deirdre's kind of facade lapses a bit. Well, it's not really facade. She is tired, but you can see she's really, really tired. And I think she sees the Hamlet and kind of just playfully laughs and says, well, I guess something is wrong. Something is rotten in the state of Deirdre. And she cuts up the scone. All right, okay, I'll try and get some sleep. I'm a bit close to what I'm trying to figure out. I'm really close. And maybe if I find out what I'm looking for, it will make sleeping easier,
I think Maria would so her face doesn't move at all, but but her body language sort of softens, and Maria just says really quietly in her robotic voice, "You're going to have to face those nightmares one day."
Ooh, I love it. Deirdre, what do you choose here? Marking XP or shifting labels?
I think I'm going to mark XP.
All right. There's a tab for advancement, and you'll notice that. Yeah. Okay. I see you've marked XP with the Soviets.
Yeah, because I've been trying to track down this Miss Papanova. And I'm very kind of sure that she was involved with the Soviets. I see Jim smiling there because she knows who that person is.
So that's the trail you've been on. I see. Cool. Tell us about your entrance into the cafe.
I think it is accurate to say that I swan into places.
That sounds right.
It's kind of like cruising in. I've got that like white and gold dress, and I've got that like ice princess complexion, but my cheeks are like a little rosy. Like it's got that like little flush from having, just like driving around at breakneck speed with just the wind in that convertible, with the wind blowing on me and stuff like this. And my hair is, probably like back in a little bun, right? Because when I was driving, you can't have it flying all over the place, but it's back in a little bun. But of course, there's like a little strand that comes and kind of, curls down under my chin like that. But I come swanning in, and I actually just kind of plunk myself down at the counter. Because there's a counter there and tables and
oh yeah, that's gotta be, yeah.
Yeah. In my head, there's no booths here.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone can see everyone all the time. Right, that's part of the neutral ground thing.
Right, part of the safety.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's no nooks or crannies or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean there is the dark area with no natural light, but we can say that's more that the kind of there's some heavy curtains. There's that spot, and as long as if you can see in the dark, then you can see everybody back there. And
and I think, and it's just that it's just that sunlight doesn't reach it. It's not that it's dark.
Right, because there's got candles.
It can be illuminated, certainly. Yeah. It's just that there are no exterior windows that can be, thrown open on somebody. It's not like a thing where like somebody could and like throw the shade up and everyone goes like that. So
yeah, some of the clients here, some of the guests here really hate it when that happens.
Yes,
so,
yeah. So, but like I said, I kind of breeze in. I think I see Maria and Deirdre there, and I like kind of give Maria like a little beauty queen wave, and then I like plunk down at the counter, and I kind of put my chin in my hands, and the proprietor comes up to me, and he kind of raises an eyebrow, and I smile and I say lemon, and he beams with delight, and goes around the back and whatever goes to the like reaches under the counter, goes down the other counter, reaches out, and comes up with a little sorbet cup with some like expensive brand of like super tart lemon sorbet in it, right? And he knows that like if a mission goes well, I get the lemon sorbet, and if it goes badly, I get the berry sorbet. And so like
based on which one feels more celebratory to you?
It's just one of those like superstitions or traditions or something that has kind of come to like, I don't know. Let's play to find out why. Because I don't know, but just like, and he lays the lemon sorbet down in front of me, and I smile, and I take the dainty little spoon, and I kind of start to and I see that Deirdre and Maria are over there, and I kind of sweep it up into one hand, and I'm doing that thing where I've like scooped a little of it up, and I've got the spoon upside down, kind of in my like and I'm holding it almost like it's a lollipop, right? As I walk up to their table, and just sort of like scoot a third chair out, with one of my, with my foot, and kind of plunk down in it with them.
Yeah, very, very good. Deirdre, Ina strikes a charismatic figure, but
Coquettish, perhaps.
coquettish figure even. But you're slightly distracted from that because where's the bullet right now?
Tucked away where it'll be safe.
Yeah, you're slightly distracted from that because you're hearing this like angry sepulchral scream coming from her cleavage.
Amazing. I think during
Screaming cleavage. Oh my god. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
In the 80s, they were amazing. No, please.
All right. I think when in a swan, how do you do the swan? Is it swan or swand? What's the past tense of that? Yeah, swan. In I think Deirdre has been distracted away from talking to Maria. Has been staring at Ina this whole time, for sure. And I think she has like the half buttered scone in her hands. So that's been happening. But I think when she gets closer, and I think just as pops on, that's when like the screaming was there for like a low ebb, but when she gets there, it's kind of a bit loud. And I think Deirdre just kind of like she doesn't want to make a scene, but it's loud and a bit much.
And I raise an eyebrow and I say, "Darling, you look like you've heard a ghost."
And I think I'm Deirdre's kind of her nerves are frazzled, so she's close to kind of like making a scene.
Are you trying to play your cards close to your chest?
Yeah, I don't want to. For sure.
Yeah, this is kind of the like keep your cool like move, right? Where you're indeed worried about spilling a secret or making a scene. I think that tracks. So when you play it close to your chest to avoid blowing your cover, spilling a secret, or giving in to someone with leverage, telling you how the world works, different situation. Say what you want to avoid and roll. And usually that's flat, but you've got a way to roll with advantage on this, I believe.
Yes. I think when Ina says, like, you're sitting her goes, Deirdre just kind of like close her eyes and says a quick Hail Mary. That is her mantra. Again, it's hard to leave those things behind. Not to say I'm praying for a miss, because a miss would be fun, but let's see. With advantage. Okay, that's an 8. What's the roll? Play close to your chest with just a flat roll. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So a flat roll, and with advantage, you got an 8 on that.
Yes.
Nice. Boy, that puts the ball in my court because I have to tell you what compromise you have to make to conceal your truth. Okay, so you want to just not like freak out or cause a scene at the moment, yes?
Yes.
All right, absolutely. I think the kind of ghostly voice is just starting to like resolve into something, and you realize that to keep yourself together, you'll need to kind of open your mind to it, such that instead of just being this inchoate scream, like kind of that's like making your hair stand on end, you might actually be able to learn something from it. So the compromise is you'll have to just open yourself up to whatever presence Ina has brought over here.
Lovely.
Does that work for you?
Yes, I think Deirdre says a quick Hail Mary, which is only half the prayer because it's rude to say the entire thing in front of 2 people. It's rude to like shut them out and just say a quick prayer. Well, not rude, it's weird. When she opens her eyes, she's put on a the more a more defiant sort of glint, which the kind of thing she usually does when Ina is around, and says like, "Well, if ghosts could talk, I'm sure they can say a lot of. If you could hear what ghosts say, and I'm sure they can say a lot of very interesting things to you." And yeah, I think as she's doing that, she's opening her mind out to hear what these ghosts are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of what does it usually look like when you see a ghost? Like, are they kind of transparent force ghost type things, or do they appear like normal people till you kind of change your angle and then they like shift and shimmer or whatever? Like, what's the normal ghostly manifestation that Deirdre experiences?
It almost looks like she sees them in the corner of her eye, and she looks away, and then when she looks back, they're right there, and I think they look like they really stand out, and I'm imagining they're not really translucent. It's like they're in high definition compared to everything else around them. They are like obvious and glaring. But once she notices them, like, and it's hard to take your eyes off ghosts, because they look like they don't belong. Because they just stand out. It's like they're badly photoshopped into the scenery.
Oh boy, yeah. So in this case, when you do your little like kind of glance away, corner of the eye, look back, you are indeed seeing a ghost, essentially kind of like standing right next to Inna, overlapping with Inna. But in addition to that high definition, the ghost is just heavily abstracted. Like they are a cubist portrait of a person, and you can see, you make out that this ghost seems to be a middle-aged man in a suit, but he's the like Picasso version of a middle-aged man in a suit. And he says, "Took you long enough, seer."
I think I'm gonna ignore him for the moment, and just direct my next question to still talk to Ina, and just I think Deirdre says that if ghosts could if you could hear what ghosts say, I'm sure they have a lot of interesting things to say to you. And I think Deirdre just tacks on before Ina, when she says that, and then this cubist man says a thing, and then Deirdre kind of hurriedly tacks on. Well, I'm supposed you do a lot of interesting things. Ina, what have you been doing lately?
Acquisitions mostly.
Really? Anything interesting acquired lately?
Oh yes, the city is full of interesting things. Why the sudden interest, Deirdre?
Well, I'm just curious. You're one who swans around in interesting circles, and well, I'm just curious. It's you work in many rarefied places. I don't normally get to swan around where you swan around. And she kind of looks away.
Are you trying to decipher a person, Deirdre?
Let's keep rolling these moves. Yeah, sure. I wasn't around last session, so I, the player, wouldn't know any of this. Yeah, Cipher is with.
It depends. It depends if you're using natural or supernatural senses for it. It sounds like you're just trying to grill Inna subtly. So it sounds like you're going the natural route here rather than the supernatural one.
Yeah. I think this is just casual conversation, so to speak.
Oh yeah, so super casual. So you're rolling plus operator in that case.
Ooh, my operator is surprisingly good. Right. That's an 8. Keep rolling 8s. What's up with that?
Okay. Yeah, on an 8, you get to ask one question from the decipher list, and as often is the case with these questions, that can mean that you, the player, are asking the question, and then the relevant target character's player answers the question, but it can represent a understanding that isn't exactly the same thing as the textual conversation that's going on. So with that in mind, Deirdre, which question are you most interested in getting the answer to as you're kind of awkwardly trying to chat with Inna about her acquisitions?
I guess if we're in Deirdre's mindset, it's mostly that Inna always presents such a front. So Deirdre just mostly wants to know, what are they really thinking, or what's going on under the surface. Surely she can't be this perfect. Inna can't be this perfectly poised.
So is it, what am I really thinking, or what? So what are they really thinking, or what's going on under the surface? Is that one question, or is that a choice of which to take there?
It's kind of I kind of wanted to frame it so that you could use the move on a person or on a situation.
Oh, got it. Okay, I see what you're saying. So
I'll go with, what were they really thinking?
Here's what I am thinking. I am thinking that it is suspicious that when I showed up at the place where Maria and I were supposed to meet, you happened to be sitting at the table talking to her. And now you are expressing all this interest in my recent acquisition. And I am wondering if maybe you are not the exact thing that I am worried about, which is someone sent by
Boris.
That if you are not Boris's eyes and ears keeping track of us. That is what I am thinking right now. I don't know for sure yet, but that is very clearly, from the way I'm looking at you, I've got that cat canary look. And yeah.
Jammy's cat is modeling for us. Yeah. So Deirdre, you pick up on that, right?
Oh.
You are you're trying to figure Inna out, and you pick up that you asking these questions is making her suspicious of you, and wonder if you're after whatever it is she's acquired on behalf of whom she acquired it from. Does that track for both of you? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. All Deirdre knows. Deirdre will guess that Inna's being suspicious of them, but Deirdre knows that Inna has something that's projecting this Picasso man. Who has he said anything else as I've ignored him?
Yeah. While you're talking to Inna, you're trying to tune him out, but you're catching the occasional word as he's saying, as powerful as, I can't believe that if this falls into, this city needs, right? And so he's clearly upset. He's clearly feels the situation that he is in here as a dead man that's also an abstract cubist painting is not to put too fine a point on it, total BS from his perspective, and he is demanding that you do something to assist him.
Yeah, I think Deirdre will just sigh as if either in response to him or to Inna, and finish buttering the scone, and kind of throw a look at Maria and say okay, now if you think I'm here to catch the conscience of anyone, I just came for a meal. She throws a look at Maria and at the copy of Hamlet.
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, Hamlet's the one I was forced to study in high school. So,
and
it happens also a play about someone who sees ghosts.
And I titter, I just make an airy little laugh, and I reach over and I break off a little hunk of your scone, and I dip it in some of the melted sorbet and like pop it in my mouth. And I say, "You are such a silly duckling sometimes." after all her swan talk.
Ooh, I love it.
Don't worry, you'll have your day too.
Maria,
I don't know.
Maria, while this is going on, you also spot someone at at one of these tables in the cafe. She's got a typewriter out in front of her and is like hunting and pecking away at it. And then like she looks up and like spots you and like waves excitedly at you. And it's your acquaintance Elizabeth Bailey, who once helped you out of a jam and has been writing stuff about you that you've asked her not to publish, I believe.
Right. And then so Maria won't completely understand what's happening between these two in front of her. Like her operator is at a minus. So like she's just nodding, and then when she sees Elizabeth, she looks at the two and she says, excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna talk to a friend. And she gets up and she walks over and she's like, Elizabeth, what are we writing today?
Hello, Maria. I'm so happy you happen to come in here right now. I've got the coolest opportunity. Just radical, like nothing that has crossed my desk before, and you're just the person I want to talk to about it. Have you heard of the Hammer and Gear?
The Hammer and Gear.
She like pulls out this like periodical and puts it down on the table. And it's got like a hammer and sickle symbol, except it's a hammer and a gear, in red, on kind of a dark background. And it's clearly kind of a activist periodical with a robot slant. Perhaps you've heard of it. What have you heard? Good things, bad things, neutral things?
Ooh, I have heard that the Hammer and Gear, whoever originally founded the idea, they went missing, and I don't know who's in charge right now.
Yeah, that absolutely tracks. But she's like kind of like excitedly thumbing through it, and she's saying, I know we've talked about not publishing the writing exercises I've been doing based on your stories, in the Danube Dipper, but they'd be so perfect for this. This is all about raising consciousness, and she like flips through the pages. She like points to the headlines of editorials, saying robots of the world unite, and one that says we are not merely the means of production, we are the robo-proletariat, right? And she says your story could be an inspiration, for the people and the machines who read this. It could bring about real change.
Maria will like stop for a moment, and because Maria knows that her story is not going to be fair for other robots. Like she knows most robots are not created with the same capabilities, so she's not the right representative. Like she knows that she's not meant to be like a figurehead or anything of that kind.
Well, I feel like she was meant to be a figurehead once upon a time.
Yes, once upon a time. But she also knows that that it came with a lot of violence, that it came with a lot of death. Like even if she can't remember it completely, like she still has flashes of it.
Yeah.
And so I think Maria will just like put a hand on the book and say, Elizabeth, I'm so glad you're excited about helping people. But I think maybe could you wait on this a bit? Like maybe could we talk about it first?
Interesting. Are you trying to trigger a move there, or do you want to just hear how she responds?
I want to hear how she responds first, and then I'll see if I'll have to push back first. Because I guess I want to know more about why, because this is not her fight per se. So I want to know why she's so invested.
Oh, totally, yeah. So I think she puts her human hand on your metal one, and she says, Maria, right now, the two of us, we're just dreamers sitting in this city, dreaming our dreams. But you could be a story that could inspire millions, and I could be the one who tells that story, and then we'd both live forever that way.
I want to.
He has leverage over you.
Oh, sorry.
Say again. I missed that. There's a blip. Tell me. Say again.
Oh. I was just saying, like, I want to. I have a feeling that I know what will make Elizabeth really happy, and I know it's not. I know it's not this. I know that she's chasing after this because she thinks it'll make her happy. So I'm going to try to bring someone around.
Interesting. I want to flag that. I think before that, she is someone with leverage over you.
Yes.
Who's trying to tell you, how the world works and what your place in it is.
Yes. Okay. That's good.
So just so you know, if you listen to her here, if her words strike home, you're going to move your fable up and your dreamer down.
Ooh.
Do you accept that, or do you want to play it close to your chest and keep her from exerting that leverage over you?
Oh, this is hard. This is Maria. Is she good at this? I would say I think she wants to keep it close to her chest because Maria is terrified that like she wants the robots to be free and she wants them to be their own people, but she hasn't seen a way that can happen without people getting killed.
She's terrified of what the revolution might look like.
Yeah. And so like she knows that's why art is so important to her, because she thinks it's a way of changing hearts and minds without hurting anybody. Yeah, like even if it were possible, Maria doesn't know if it's possible.
All right. So when you play it close to your chest,
right?
Make a flat roll.
Okay. I was gonna click on the StreamYard. Whoops, I got lost for a moment.
Unless, is it the case that you and Elizabeth have leverage over each other?
Oh yeah. Let me double check.
So you can always burn that existing leverage to gain advantage on this roll.
Yeah. No, I don't have leverage on her though.
Oh, she just has leverage over you.
Yes.
Well, she's trying to use it. So
yeah.
Let's see how you do it playing it close to your chest.
Ooh, I don't. I get a 4.
Okay. So first thing that happens here, right, is definitely your labels are shifting. So your dreamer's going down, your fable's going up, because kind of in spite of yourself, the picture she's painting is exerting an effect, right, on Maria's own kind of self-understanding, right, the story she tells herself. Also, you get to mark XP, and you can tell me which faction you're marking XP with after that miss.
Ooh. I'll say, still with the West, I think. How would I justify that? I'm trying to think about it. Oops. I got attacked by laundry. I'm thinking the West. How would I justify it though? I'll think about it later.
I mean, if you're resisting calls for the revolutionary
that's true though.
Change of society, then maybe that means by default you're kind of leaning towards the West there.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for that. Yeah. And then what happens next? Let me double check the move. I
think that's those are the things
Oh.
that happened with that. It's just that
Right.
as always, on a miss, you're in the MCU's hands. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, you're having this conversation, and like Elizabeth's like raising her voice slightly, like speaking like a little too loudly for the for these environs, saying like as like she sees you hesitate, she's like, Maria, think of your robotic brothers and sisters and co-metal people. Think you're just gonna leave them with their lot in squalor and degradation, and like around the cafe you see like a robot or two, like kind of like pause in like lifting their tea that they were pretending to drink, and like kind of like swivel their heads a little bit, looking over to the table that the two of you are at. I'm going to ask you to mark stress for that, and you definitely feel these these diode eyes on you from a number of angles in the cafe.
Mm-hmm. And I would say like sorry, where do I mark stress? Like just
it's kind of right underneath your labels. There's a little drop down menu for stress.
I see it. Yeah, thank you. So just one for that one?
Yeah, just one stress there.
Okay. I'd say also, like, because I'm unable to keep it close to my chest, like without me realizing it, my hand crushes the table, like underneath me. Like it just like really easily, like it just looks like I'm gently touching it, and it just because Maria is capable of great strength, unfortunately. So
right, and it's a map of like Vienna in the end of the the 18th century, and suddenly there's a big new crevasse in it from you pushing down on the table there, and like Elizabeth like snatches away the hammer and gear and like grabs it to her chest, like what are you doing?
And I look at my hand like I'm confused, like it's a moment of was it me that did that? Like there was a and I look at Elizabeth. I'm sorry. And then I'm really conscious about the robots looking. And I say, yeah, but I'm really going to play into how she was able to use the leverage on me. And I say, Elizabeth, I know you're right. But let's talk about this later, where it's safer.
And I am going to be up out of my chair.
Oh yeah, tell me.
Yes.
As soon as you see Maria like crushing the table a little bit over there.
No, as soon as I see someone like upsetting my friend is why I am up out of the chair. And so this is the first time that I have met Elizabeth, I think, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
May I establish my bona fides with her?
You certainly may.
All right. So this is, I just think this is a super cool move. So when you meet someone for the first time in the game, answer these questions. Are you in the good books of their faction? I don't know that I'm in the books of their faction at all, so I'd say probably not.
Yeah, it sounds like she's a struggling writer with some revolutionary tendencies.
Yes.
That doesn't quite sound like in his scene.
Yes, yeah, it's part of the robot revolution. Are you treating them as they think they deserve? I'm certainly not going to be doing that.
Okay.
So I would take +1 for each yes and roll. So that is a flat roll, because I got no bonuses. So yeah, I think that's just a flat roll.
All right, go ahead.
There. I got a 6. So
all right.
There is not a way to help other people in this, right? That's
there is a way. Someone would have to spend a chit. Someone can kind of cash in one of their chits to give you advantage.
Someone at the table would have to have a chit that they could use.
Okay. Could I use my chit? even if it's
You could if you
Oh,
want to help out Inna here, who has I take
yeah.
wand over again to kind of enter into this conversation.
Yeah, because like it's on a miss. They believe someone selling rumors. I think Maria would never want anyone to think badly of Ina. So I will use up that shit.
No matter how much I deserve it.
No matter how much.
All right, Jim, roll one more die and see how
Okay.
what the tip buys you.
All right, let's see. Oh, you know what doesn't work? Clicking on the die that is actually on the screen on the video. That does not actually
I did
help
that
me roll
earlier.
anything. Okay, so let me flip over to the actual die roller here, and I will re-roll that. Oh yeah, that's I got a 1 on that die. So.
Oh dear.
So, yeah. All right. And I think what happens and so like, yeah, this is a thing where like I'm just like up off the table and I'm up off the table and like kind of and walking over, and as I walk over, I just kind of flick my wrist, and that spoon that I was carrying, like smacks into her typewriter, like between a couple of the keys, right? just a little like flick like that, and because you know how the old manual typewriters have the arms that come up like this, and it's just like sping, and like the end of the spoon is like vibrating, and like I say in this bubbly voice, I think that's enough of an interview for today, don't you? To
Elizabeth, yeah.
Elizabeth, yes.
Nice of you to introduce yourself by getting sorbet on her typewriter.
I hope I very much hope that I have broken her typewriter.
Oh, mean, yeah. So like the spoon lodges in it as she was like getting ready to to like start typing, and like you hear like the mechanism grind, and she grabs it up, like pulls back from the chair, like staring at you in a let's see. I think she like kind of like hisses at you. No weapons allowed here. What are you trying to do? And then kind of like like runs past you over towards the counter, right? And she's saying, "That lady's throwing knives. It's against the rules." And so Maria, your friend has run away. Your other friend has caused this.
And I laugh
to help.
And like I laugh and I say after her, quite the anarchist until we need the rules for ourselves, aren't we?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Gosh. Like Maria is like so confused because she thinks if we're all friends, aren't we supposed to get along? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Poor naive Maria. I think, is anyone responding to Elizabeth? Like, are they taking her seriously?
Looks like Raphael Morgenstern has come over to her and is kind of like talking to her, like seemingly trying to quiet her down, but definitely like casting some like slightly like come on in a glances over at Inna as he's doing this. Deirdre, you're watching from the table. Where do we see you?
I think the moment once Inna has swanned off away from the table. I think Deirdre kind of like frantically like reaches to her coat and pulls out like she's got a tape recorder and the rosary is wrapped around the tape recorder, and
Nice.
she's gonna try to commune with this cubist man.
Conjuring
While
the distraction.
yeah, while Ina is like tossing sorbet at Elizabeth.
If you need someone to be the center of fucking attention.
It's amazing that she's a spy when she's so noticeable all the time.
But that's it, like that is one way to be a spy, though, right?
Hiding in plain
Mostly
sight.
how
Yes,
James Bond
yeah.
does these things.
Just be so huge like that. Well, that's what it's like when you have a +2 weapon and a -1 operate. So
How am I the one with the +2 in operate? What's up with that? I'm a professional. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna try and commune with this cubist man and basically get him away from Ina and talking to Deirdre.
Yeah, so that's your special haunted move. Can you tell us how that works real quick?
Yeah, so you see dead people everywhere. These spirits range from helpful to needy to wrathful. When you commune with the dead to get answers, roll plus fable. And on a hit, I'm gonna get good info and a +1 forward. On the 7-9, though, I pick up a passenger who demands I help them with their unfinished business. If I miss, I still get something, but I attract dangerous spirits, and I should prepare for the worst. So I'm going to roll flat, because I have a fable of 0, which probably tells you why Deirdre's always a bit stressed about having to talk to the dead. And that was a failure. That was a 5.
So first things first, mark XP. Tell me who you're marking XP with here.
Yeah,
you're pursuing a different lead, but possibly in service of your larger goals still.
Yeah, it's kind of in service of our larger goals. I want to know who this is so I could technically get leverage on Ina so she can help me with my quest. So in a roundabout way, I'm marking XP with the Soviets. Or actually, you know what? I'll tell me who this person is. I have a vague idea, but tell me what happens first, and then I'll figure out.
absolutely. So I think like you're just kind of like opening your mind up here, right? And you get like you'll get an inrush of information, sure. This appears to be the unquiet spirit of Benedict Bogan. Great wizard of Vienna, slain by a bullet that's now imbued with his magic and all of the like crazy magic forces he was channeling for his own ends at the time when he was shot down. So now his ghost is this maelstrom of spectral energy with like a thin kind of facade of kind of Bogan's mind, imprinted on it, trying to ride that whirlwind. This comes in rushing to you in like a particularly unwelcome way, though. So please, tell me what we see, as kind of like Deirdre is overwhelmed with this information, and mark a stress as you do so.
Yeah, I think I choke up. It's so much all at once, and this doesn't seem like a very pleasant guy. No,
he seems really really demanding and imperious, right? Like he's kind of like demanding that you find. In fact, he's demanding that you find him a recently dead body to inhabit, so he can fix the problems the city is falling into without him on the scene.
Yeah, I think I choke up and I could feel like I think what happens when this happens, Deirdre just feels like this overwhelming psychic backlash, and yeah, I think she feels like. So I just realized this happens in that Hideo Kojima game just came out with Death Stranding. But like she feels like her she feels like tears bubbling up in her eyes, and she feels like kind of hyperventilating, but those tears are like, there's a reason why her rosary is always ink stained. Because
is she crying ink?
Yeah, and I think as this kind of happens, Ina's distracted enough. She's gonna like try to like leave the cafe in a bit of a hurry. Well, Ina's got her attention because she doesn't. This demand from this character, this Bogan character, is like it's imprinting itself in her mind, but she's trying to get out before like it can cost too much. But I think it's a bit late. Late for that.
Okay, so you think we see Deirdre like trying to head towards the door there, as
Yeah.
like as the weight of this spirit she's sort of channeling starts landing on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we see you kind of like, push your way out of the out of the cafe, and then like as once you're in the street, like something knocks you down. You hit the ground. You look up. You see that kind of that spectral werewolf from inside, getting more and more kind of solid, and it just seems to be like enraged, and it's charging back towards you, and it like puts up its head and howls, and that you hear like that ghostly wolf howl, and then kind of audibly echoing around the city streets, you hear answering howls from many directions.
Jesus Christ.
And let's take a pause there, have a short bio break, and come back to see more of the fallout here.
Ooh.
Rejoin at let's reconvene at 9:40 by my watch. 40 past the hour. See you guys.
Sure. All right. See you then.
See you in a bit.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Ooh, I'll keep those in mind. Thanks, Alexi.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Any wishes for the last movement of our session tonight?
I'm not sure. Oh, we'll see where it ends up. I'm not sure. I get the feeling Deirdre's gonna just this death spiral of bad moves is just gonna keep going.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, she's not gonna. I'm not gonna do what I did last time and just manage to talk this werewolf to side with me. No, I don't think so. The moment you said cubist man, I was like, ah, god damn it.
Yeah, for folks following along at home, the Cubist Ghost is a callback to the Urban Shadows Vienna 1950 series, where a bunch of weaponized cubism became a plot point, and this wizard was trying to channel it when someone shot him dead, and it turns out that leaves a weird effect on the bullet.
Yeah, anyone watching this who haven't seen those, I highly recommend watching those. They're great. Those, oh my god, those PCs just. Thankfully, I don't think any of them are in Vienna anymore. I think they all left. Well, except for one, the worst one, has stuck around.
The one that you played, Leandro?
I can say she was the worst one. I think. I think categorically she was the worst, even though she was the mortal one.
Hey, all right. Looks like we're back. Let's jump back into the cafe for a moment. Maria, you see that the proprietor, right, is trying to calm down your friend Elizabeth. I think a waiter approaches you and says, Herr Morgenstern suggests that you make yourself scarce while he works to placate Fraulein Bailey.
Did she take the book with her, or did she leave it on the table?
Oh, interesting. Why do you ask?
I was planning on taking it with me when I left.
We can definitely say that Hammer and Cog periodical has been left on the table. She certainly got up in a hurry there after messed up her typewriter.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna nod at him. I'm gonna carefully return the Hamlet book to him. And before, I carefully bookmark where I was reading it, and hand it to him. Then I take the other book, and I turn to him and say, "Thank you for everything. I'm so sorry this happened. I'm going to ask him to not tell her I took the book."
I see. Call on some professional discretion there.
Yeah.
Are you thinking you're bringing someone around there?
I think so. I think I'm going to tell him, you've always been so good at knowing what are the right secrets to keep for everybody's happiness, right? Yeah,
that's a thing. A waiter might really have to develop as a skill, I'd say. Roll that. Roll in plus streamer.
Yeah, so it's +2 right now. I'm going to justify the advantage by saying that I tell him that robots in general don't understand secrets, but I'm learning from him how useful and helpful they can be, because he exemplifies that. So going to re-roll 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Did I do the math right?
Yeah. If you totally. So bringing an NPC around, they'll go along with people who need some concrete assurance, corroboration, or evidence first. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think you get like a well, a sort of like conspiratorial lean in here, right? As he says, indeed, keeping secrets, very human thing. The things these walls have heard, kind of like gesturing around, and what's a good thing to entrust to you here, Maria? Oh yeah, absolutely. He says, and just so you've got another one for your little collection there. Testing out this human secret keeping thing. You didn't hear it from me that Fraulein Isabella Rossi was poking around here, asking about you and your friend Marguerite. But mum's the word on that. We know how Marguerite overreacts to that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I will do my best to practice humanity and keep the secret. Thank you, friend. You really are a dear one.
Inna, you see that Elizabeth is still upset about your little introduction there. The waiter has kind of turned to you too, similarly suggested that it might be for the best to remove the kind of cause of Fraulein Bailey's distemper from the cafe and return at a later time.
So I shrug and like hook an arm through Maria's arm.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of and I'm gonna head towards the door, assuming she's gonna come with me.
All right, two of you headed towards the door.
Yeah,
absolutely. The scene you espy as you exit the cafe is kind of Deirdre sprawled on the ground, and then for a moment she's just lying there, and then a moment later you see her kind of being like dragged along the ground into like a side alley, like something invisible is like pulling her away from you.
I think Maria will say, "Oh, I haven't seen humans walk that way just yet. That seems interesting."
I am going to I see that, and I'm just gonna bolt into the alley. And I pause for a moment, and I kind of I have with a look of exasperation on my face, and I say, "No, she's in terrible danger," and go bolting down the alley after her.
Ooh,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think when that happens, Maria's eyes change color to like bright, because this is the first time she's heard danger in this entire adventure. And so her eyes start burning bright red, and she just goes into Terminator running mode.
I should also note that I have influence over Maria, and I'm telling her how the world is right now.
Ooh.
Oh shoot! Are you shifting her? Are you shifting her labels here with your leverage?
Oh yeah.
That's
what are you
true.
Shifting? This is like weapon up, dreamer down right now.
Ooh. I will take it.
It's time to get dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe you.
That totally tracks, and we already saw kind of how that manifests with your kind of eyes. Are they glowing red, or is it no? You have gold eyes usually. Is it just more glow?
Yeah. And then so what's happening is like behind there's like some programming that's shifting, and turning it red instead for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Deirdre, you like you've kind of you feel like spectral teeth like closed around your ankle as this wolf spirit is like dragging you into this alley. As you look around, you see some people that have kind of gathered at the other end of the alley. Um, like looks like a rough crew, street toughs. But how can you tell, given your own experience in the supernatural side of the city? How can you tell that these street toughs are all werewolves in their untransformed human forms?
Ooh. I think it kind of looks like, and you can only tell because you know werewolves, is because they look like their bodies are like stretched a bit further because they have to keep transforming whenever they do transformation. So whenever they come back to human form, the proportions are just that tiniest bit off. Like they look a bit stretched.
Just a little off.
Yeah, they're stretched a little bit. And again, you only notice that if you've seen werewolves before. Most of the time, like people aren't gonna notice that unless you know what to look for. But I think Deirdre can see like some fingers are just a bit longer than they should be, and like their necks are a bit stretched out a bit more. It's a disconcerting sort of effect for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You round the corner, you're charging into this alley.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the like tough in the lead here, right? In like a leather jacket, looks up at you and like sneers something. Says like, Boris was right. Just follow the wolf spirits would find that bullet again.
So I don't even say anything. I just without really stopping, I come at him, and I do like one of these like ballet plies, like a long leap where my legs split, and I get like impossibly high off the ground.
Nice.
And I'm gonna put one of my heels like right through his eye.
Ooh, sounds like you're resorting to violence.
Yeah,
against a foe who can retaliate.
Kill this scumbag. So let's see what we got here. All right. So plus weapon, which is +2 for me.
Indeed. Popping over to,
6 + 2 gets me to 8.
Nice. Okay, cool.
7 and 9, I'm going to choose one. I'm going to take something away from them.
His eye specifically, or something else?
No, I want to get Deirdre back.
Oh, gotcha.
I like how you went to his eye. He's like, "Are you taking it away?"
Well, she's putting a heel in it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I am, but like even if this is a thing where like one of them's got her clutched, and seeing me kick that guy in the face like so enrages them that they like let her go and swarm at me, like I'm totally cool on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think the wolves that were kind of reaching for Deirdre to grab her suddenly like turn and converge on you more. Deirdre, the like spectral wolf like lets go. It's no longer kind of gripping your ankle with its teeth. It's still like standing there though, and it's the one that's in like you can see it, right, and it's in kind of its wolfish form, right, whereas the other wolves haven't turned. But yeah, so the like sneering guy stumbles back screaming from the hit you've just inflicted here, and
I kind of land and I come down and do a nice landing, and I say, "Oh boys, you have bitten off so much more than you can chew today."
Yeah, and he yells, he yells a slur in your direction, and the wolves kind of like break out like lead pipes and baseball bats studded with knives, just like real street brawler weapons, and like one like kind of like gets a good hit as you're kind of landing, right, and they're like just all throwing themselves at you, because you didn't choose to keep yourself safe from their blow. I'm gonna say,
yeah, no, I'm not a keep myself safe kind of girl.
I'm gonna say
Oh my gosh, are we talking about your body or your heart? Like that's go on.
You've got the wolves all like surrounding you and taking some swings. So I think the next move I'll ask you to roll is take serious harm.
Yeah, all right.
You do it that.
I was hoping for that. That's cool. So, when you take serious harm, roll plus stress. Right now, I actually have no stress marked.
All right. So just a flat roll.
Yeah, that is my flat roll is a 7. So, on a 7 and 9, you take your licks. Choose one from below. Oh yeah, I'm gonna grit my teeth and push through and go ahead and mark stress here.
Gother. Yeah. So
it's
tell me just a little, like, a little what that looks like, what we see on screen, just showing that you're weathering the blows, taking a bit of a beating without it totally, getting, without it really.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things where like I land and someone swings a baseball bat, like one of those baseball bat with a nail in it, at my face, and I just like throw a hand up and block it. Nail goes through the palm of my hand, but I just kind of like grab it with the other hand, throw it off my hand, and kind of push it back. And whatever. There's blood running down the both sides of my hand here.
Yeah, but you're not even sure this is your body anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for understanding that.
Maria, you were told there's serious danger. You were moving in as well. When you arrive and see surrounded by werewolf thugs, and Deirdre sprawled along the ground, what do you do?
I think what happens is when Maria rushes it's an alley, right? So
alley.
When she rushes in, things start to flash back and forth for her. Like when she was trapped in these tunnels with this machinery, when she was fighting people, like it's going back and forth. Maria's having a hard time telling what reality is. So she is a machine that kills fascists.
Yeah, and this is a whole mob of people, I'd say.
Yeah. And I was honestly thinking of using something else, but I was like, oh, no, I think Maria's like panicking. And it's bringing up something difficult in her. So that's going to be... So I'm just going to read it out for people who are listening. This machine kills fascists. When you resort to violence against a whole mob of people, you can also pick one of these options. So I have a few extra options. So I'm going to go ahead and roll resort to violence, and I'm going to use weapon. So right now I'm at a +2 because my friend Ina got me ready for this moment. So here we go. Ooh, but that's a 4. 4, 5, 6.
Oh, a 4. Oh, a 6. Oh, a 6.
Yeah.
You don't happen to have a chit you can spend on that, do you?
No, I spent my last one just earlier.
Okay. However, your move, I believe your move specifies that even on a miss, you get to choose one of the options.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to put that down, but that's right. I remember that being the case. So I'm going to choose... You destroy their morale and send many of the mob scattering. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to say that what happens is that Maria just like jumps in and like she keeps moving quickly back and forth between all the werewolves, just trying to pick up and smash them into the wall, as many as she can. And her clothing gets ripped, like the coat gets ripped away, the hat falls over, and she's just like gleaming gold against the walls, just like smashing them into it. and she's absolutely terrifying. Like any trace of the kind Maria is just completely gone in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like there's the wolves are freaked out. This is not the sort of thing that we're expecting to fight at all. And so like many of them are now like kind of like cowering in doorways along the alley, or behind trash cans or whatever. And like you're feeling someone just barrels into you from behind, kind of driving something something sharp and heavy like into your back, and like I'm going to ask you to take serious harm from it, and in addition to just the injury of, let's say it's like a sharpened like trench spade basically that's just been like jabbed into you, but in addition to that, you turn and you see your good friend Wolfgang there holding the end of the spade that's now protruding from your back. Take serious harm.
Yes. Okay. I also marked the XP from the miss, by the way. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. Which faction do you mark XP with?
Oh, whoops! I marked Inez by accident. Yeah, but here with the West, because I'm my main thing is that I'm protecting Ina.
Got it. Right.
Yeah. Okay. And also like our ghosty ghost friend. And let's see. So I'm going to So do I mark stress as well? Oh no, sorry. I also mark.
Yeah, take serious harm, and we'll see what the fallout ends up being.
Right. Okay, sorry. I just played Forge in the Dark yesterday, so that's why I got confused for a second. Leandro, how do you do it? How do you play so many games and not get confused? So I'm gonna roll with stress. So I have stress, so that's a +1. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, I'm gonna pick these two that rolled ones. You better roll ones again. I'm glaring at you. Not so bad.
Looks like a 6.
Yeah.
You had one stress already.
I think, no, it's a 7. Oh gosh, this is what just on the top.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's good. It's
good. On a 7 through 9, you take your licks. Choose one from below.
I'm going to choose. I feel like it makes thematically the most sense to give ground so the opposition gets a juicy opportunity, because I'm shocked to see Wolfgang. Because we were just having coffee earlier, like a couple of hours ago. And so my eyes sort of flicker and they go back to the gold, and then they shift into blue to show the confusion of what's happening.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And he looks at you, Maria. He's like, "Oh, damn, Maria. Don't get mixed up in all this. I told you it's no good. It's no good." And he's just shaking his head at you and like kind of like pushes you to the side out of the way, and like he reaches down trying to like grab Deirdre. Deirdre, what do you do? This a lot of this happened real fast. But you're like trying to take it in. You've got Benedict Boggin clearly still like trying to get your attention, trying to say something to you. But in addition to him, there's this chaotic battle, and most particularly a spectral wolf that only you can see in the midst of it. So tell me what you do.
Yeah, well, I was gonna try to. I think Deirdre was trying to find that spectral wolf amidst the melee. She didn't expect Ina and Maria to like show up and kick ass. But now there's this other guy, this Wolfgang, coming at her as well. And I think what people would see, like, Deirdre looks like her mascara has run out, but really it's a lot of like black ink on her.
Oh shoot!
Her face. Yeah. Most of the mob is gone, right? The only people that are left there are like Wolfgang and the ghost wolf, right?
Yeah, many of them went scattering. It's the sort of thing where
we're in the process of it.
possibly they could regroup if like someone gave the order, for example. But at the moment, like Maria has sent them scattering.
Yeah. With this, well, I guess with this, if this Wolfgang is on me, I think Deirdre's first act is to just basically get away. To kind of duck over them and just get out of this alleyway. I think she's running on instinct. Boggin is there as well, probably screaming something or shouting something. So I think as much as it was nice to see Maria and Inna save her, she really wants to get the fuck out of here.
She's just skedaddling.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds like a get out roll, right? When you use an opportunity to get in or get out of a place, say if you're breaking or sneaking.
Yeah,
what do you
I'm
think
not
you're doing here?
I'm not sneaking. I'm not in the state to be sneaking.
Just barreling away.
Yes.
Roll plus weapon.
Yeah. What is my weapon again? It is not great. It's a -1. Amazing. All right.
Excuse me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey, that's a 10 somehow.
Wow, a 10 even on the -1.
Yeah. Amazing.
Okay, Deirdre. Nicely done. Strength born of desperation here. Yeah, when you on a hit, you do it, right? Like you make it. So like tell us what it looks like as you like how you kind of outdistance Wolfgang. You know how you like manage to get away from this alley where all this is going down.
Yeah, I think when Wolfgang is like coming at Deirdre, like she just kind of like just full on fight or flight sort of instinct. So I think what she does is like there was enough time when Wolfgang was like had that interaction with Maria that like I think Deirdre just like manages to grab a lead pipe that was left by one of the gang wolves and just kind of like instinctively smacks Wolfgang in the face.
Oh, so he gets like a smack in the face on your way out. Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just imagining Wolfgang as Charlie Brown now. It's just bad things to keep happening to him. And yeah, without even talking to like Inna and Maria, I am just gonna give them like this wild-eyed sort of stare. They can see like the ink still running from my face or from my eyes, and just kind of like bolt it. Run away.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so like, yeah, at that point, you're clear from this melee, and you're hearing kind of like Boggin's voice again, and he's saying, "Idiot child, you can't outdistance them forever. I am your only hope. Give me control. Give me control, and I will break that ghost cur at your heels, and then." Together we can fix this city, set it to rights.
Okay, he lost me at fixing the city. I think that's reverberating in the back of my head as I kind of run off, run away from everyone.
Run away from everyone. Fair enough. Yeah. So Deirdre's made her break for it.
I want to ask though, is the ghost trying to push? Like tell them something about how the world works?
Oh, that's an interesting question. You know what? That works if the ghost has leverage. So
does Deirdre need to establish bona fides with the ghost?
Ooh, yeah.
Does that? Let's check whether
we
that
should have done
works.
that. We probably should have done that when you meet someone important for the first time in the game. Yeah, I don't think Deirdre's met Benedict Boggin. We probably should have done that in the cafe.
Maybe you didn't catch his name quite. Until
it all flooded in.
You're now like running away. It's like what was your name again? Crazy ghost.
I am Benedict Boggin. You must listen to me.
Sure. Let's do that and see what happens.
Yeah. Let's see. So, are you in the good books of their faction? I probably deal with a lot of wizard folk.
Yeah. You see ghosts. Probably like the kind of necromancer type has consulted with you. So you good enough books with Boggin's people. Sure.
Yeah. Well, and his faction is also ghosts. So
it's now it's true.
Okay. Yeah, it is now ghosts. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm If I'm thinking of bug in a different context. Are you treating them as they think they deserve? They don't think they deserve. They probably think I should be waiting on them hand on foot.
Yeah,
instead of
I
running
don't
away
think
from
you're
them.
treating him as he thinks he deserves because like he like thinks you should like be be kowtowing, right? Like he thinks that he's the the ruler here, right? And you are a peon. So roll. You can roll +1 for that
Yeah.
good books of the faction.
Yeah. Oh, that's a 10 again. Where were these 10s? I could have used them.
Just double checking because I realize my printed version was out of date because it's a game in development. So let me check the written version. On a hit, they know good things of you first or second hand. Perhaps they even owe you. Take leverage over them or collect a chit. They're ready to deal. What do you choose for your little kind of, the relationship you're establishing here with this ghost?
Part of me thinks that like they probably wouldn't be ready to deal. On the other hand, part of me thinks they've been stuck in a magic bullet for a while. They're probably desperate to
Yeah,
like,
ready to deal.
yeah, and like clearly he's not met any other seers or conduits into from the dead to the living. So maybe as I'm running, he probably like he betrays himself a bit and says something about how desperate he is.
Yeah. He's like, I can't believe I'm stuck with this amateur as the only seer I could find in this godforsaken. Yeah.
So can I ask just a question for, because I think I might be parsing that wrong. So is there 3 options there, or is they're ready to deal a thing that happens on a hit?
Yeah, they're ready to kind of discussing the flavor of the situation.
So leverage or collect a chit.
Yeah,
right?
those are Deirdre's options here. What do you pick?
Part of me thought taking leverage, but then I don't know if that's. I think I'll just take a chit. I don't know if you're just in the mindset to like file that as like, ooh, I have leverage over them. I think I'll just take a chit.
Chits are good. Sometimes you roll bad and you wanna cash those in. Absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes you just roll bad. Sometimes.
Yeah, so he's kind of like changing his tune, right? As like you're not like responding to the like mere commands, and he says, what is your name, mortal seer?
So this conversation is happening as I'm running away.
Yeah, it's just like kind of like a ghost voice in your head.
I'm thinking like ghost time is not the same as physical time.
Yeah,
so, like...
yeah. It isn't anime. It's like a cutaway conversation. It's happening. This is happening. I think Deirdre, like just out of frustration and tiredness and just fear, she kind of like yells back. My name's Deirdre. I'm leaving you the fuck alone.
Yeah, and he's like, no, wait, Deirdre. The ghosts talk about you. They say you're looking for a Miss Papanova.
I think
work with me. I can bring you to her. I know where I put her.
Don't you fucking dare. I think it's what Deirdre says.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you fucking dare. And I think that's the last thing Deirdre will say as she runs off.
Okay.
But Deirdre will remember that.
Deirdre will remember that indeed. All right, back in the alley. Ina, Maria, you hit these guys pretty hard. At this point, many of them are running away. Wolfgang got a lead pipe to the face. It seems like on Deirdre's exit, but he's kind of he's like still like valiantly like trying to stand. Put up his dukes. Here's what I want to ask you: How can you tell from among this this kind of crew of roughnecks, right? That in addition to the normal kind of Austrian ne'er-do-wells, there are some Nazis that have slipped through the cracks among this posse of werewolves.
Oh,
Nazi werewolves. That's like a horrible combination. Can I just say?
that's awesome. You and I read the same Bren Lumley novel, Alexi. So, oh, I think it's like, yeah, I mean, just like it's got to be that, like, in the fight, when Maria gets in there and she's messing them up and like their clothes are getting shredded and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like one of them, like shirt gets pulled down and like right over his heart there's just like a a big old fucking SS eagle tattoo right there. Like, it's not subtle, right? It's not, we don't have to like look for like to parse carefully their haircuts or anything like that.
Mhm.
Like, once like it's the kind of thing that would get him like just shot walking around Germany, right?
Right.
So yeah, like, I mean, it's like something super obvious as soon as it's like clothing covers it, but as soon as that comes off, as soon as the veneer of civilization is torn away, we see exactly, like, literally where his heart lies.
Yeah. Yeah. So they seem the like remaining wolves, including these ones you marked particular, seem interested in living to fight another day, and they're turning tail. Are you gonna let them do that?
Oh, is there? Oh, yeah, Wolfgang's not going anywhere.
Wolfgang's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
You say?
yeah. And what happens with Wolfgang? Like, they are starting to flee, and I just say, oh no, and I like my hand shoots out, and I make a fist, and maybe not make a fist, like my hand shoots out like this, and I just make this sweeping gesture up, and like where he is, like right in the street where he is, there's a manhole cover there. And I'm going to spend a stress to have like that manhole cover just shoot up into the air, and a geyser of like foul sewer water just spews up out of it. And I'm going to have my element bring something to me that I want.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So like the cover shoots off. The water indeed geysers up and just like forms around Wolfgang as he's like kind of like struggling, right? And then it's
and just
like
so that
him over here too.
And I'll just read my move just for the benefit of Leandro and anyone else that may not be familiar with it. But that is Tempest Caller. That is my elemental move. I can mark a stress to call on my element to aid me, and I can choose. It brings me something it thinks will help or comfort me. It takes away something it thinks is bothering me. And I choose it is going to bring me something that it thinks will help or comfort me.
Correct. And the other part of that move is just that the MC will detail what other harm it might unwittingly cause along the way.
How it happens, and but yeah. So like, yeah, and that's I'm calling on the element to bring it to me.
It's gonna bring you Wolfgang, kind of like struggling, right, and kind of with water, all kind of like surging up around him, like kind of like watery shackles, right? But there's just water spilling over and like continuing to spill out as the seems like the water you called was just eager to get out here into this alley. So like the whole place is like slowly flooding a little bit. And, like Maria, you look down and see water kind of like rising up to your like metal ankles, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down, but you've definitely got Wolfgang there, and he's kind of like stretching against it. He's like, hey, it's over, all right, you guys won this one.
So I reach out and I strip his shirt off.
you're checking for tattoos on.
Does he have a Nazi tattoo?
Wolfgang does not. Wolfgang's got like a bunch of ink, but it's like different women's names. Some of them like crossed out, right?
Mermaids and anchors and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And he's like spluttering. He's like, you think your boss is going to do something better with that bullet than mine? Yeah, you don't know anything. Ask your big fat American guy, Simon Sessler.
And I lean into him, and I kind of stand on my tiptoes, and I turn my head. I just place my lips against his, and water starts to come out of his nose.
Oh.
And I'm going to get spooky.
Oh, man. Some kind of kiss of death here.
Yeah,
huh?
So when you get spooky by letting out your inhuman side to reshape your environment, overcome an obstacle, or instill fear.
Sure.
You can roll plus fable. And I will do that. So my fable's at 2. Ha! Awesome. That's a 2.
Oh dear.
Can I explain why that's a 2?
What are you thinking? What do you think's going on?
I think Maria is going to stop Ina. I think Maria is going to throw herself to protect Wolfgang, even if it's the wrong thing to do.
You care about this dork, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay with that, Jim, I buy that.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. That is a perfect way to mess things up. Absolutely.
You were about to put the fear of the Danube into this guy, and Maria wants to not have that happen because she had formed a connection. Totally. Give me a sense of what that looks like, Maria.
I think to really justify it, because I'm not rolling or anything, I'm going to take stress for it also. I'm also willing to take the severe harm for it if it's necessary. But basically, I throw myself between the two of them, and I know that the water is powerful, and the water is it's instinctive, right? I know that Ina's not completely controlling the water. When the water sees that I'm trying to separate the two of them, the water starts attacking me.
Absolutely, and it can't drown you, right? Which I think it was going to partially drown Wolfgang here, it seems like, and so it goes for your mouth and nose, Maria, and then that's doing nothing, right? It's like the river itself is frustrated. But it's you're getting just blasted by it from all sides, though, as it tries to figure out how you breathe.
I think there are parts of my metal that are starting to crush under the pressure.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great miscondition here. In a Mark XP, Maria takes severe harm. And I'll just throw in there that as all this is starting to happen, you also hear the voice of the river talking to you from the water you've summoned up, and it's saying, "Don't give it to anyone. Give it to me. It'll be safe with me." But Maria, let's see what happens when you take severe harm.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to roll +1. Let's see. Rerolling. Did it stay the same? Did it not change? Is that right?
There's a last roll total thing included, so that says the last roll was a 3, so that wouldn't be right. Right. That's
weird. I guess it's not showing. So I guess it's a 4.
Yeah, you got a 4.
Yeah, or was it someone else's roll? Whoops.
Yeah, I want to reroll that. I don't think
okay.
Yeah, it looks like
was that yours? Okay.
Looks like your dice are 2 3s, so that wouldn't be the last roll.
Okay, got it. There we go. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. So, when you take serious hard on 7 to 9, you take your lips. You take your licks rather. Choose one from below.
I will. I feel like what makes the most sense. I'm going to mark a condition.
Yeah,
Just because it
something
makes the
in
most sense.
breaks, mark a condition, and
Yeah.
as a automaton, that can be pretty literal. In addition to emotionally true. So tell me what condition you're marking.
I think because for Maria, she's going through such a hard time. She saw Elizabeth and Ina fight, and then now she's seeing Ina and Wolfgang fight. Like she's having difficulty. I think instead it's going to be burned. It's going to be emotional.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. Yeah, you're hit by all this water, but what you're marking is burned. But I buy it.
Because it's her heart that's breaking.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, this has just been the session of Maria's dreamer getting like just punched down. Totally. Yeah, and with Maria's intervention here, Ina, and the voice of the river ringing in your ears. Kind of Wolfgang bedraggled and shirtless and like probably like coughing up some water is just crawling away.
Okay, so I just I grit my teeth and shake my head, and all the water just like I'm shutting it off. And I Wolfgang is crawling away on all fours, and Maria is there what are you on your knees or something like that or whatever? Yeah. And I walk over to Wolfgang and I'm reaching down to my cute little belt that I have around that little dress, and zing, and a a piano wire, with with two little loops comes out, and I just kind of literally just casually walk over Wolfgang's back, and I say, I have a message for you to deliver to those Nazi bastards, and just loop it around his neck and just pull. And I'll let him crawl a little bit trying to get away from it, and I am just yanking hard on it. Until it's going to be bad. I don't necessarily want to get into a super graphic description, but this is it is an ugly, terrible death. His corpse is going to look really bad. Just he was clearly this is not surgical. It's so I actually have, as one of my release conditions, vengeful. Get back at someone who's wronged you with massive overkill. And that is what I am going for here. I'm going to feel much better after I have taken care of this, I think.
So you're trying. You want Wolfgang dead as a message to the wolves.
Yeah, I feel like this is violence against the defenseless.
He wasn't on his feet and ready to retaliate at that point. So absolutely. And when you do violence against a completely unsuspecting defenseless target, you just do it. The MC will tell you how they take the blow and what comes next. Yeah, I think it's ugly. I think it's kind of protracted. I think Maria recovers enough to see the last seconds of it as Wolfgang goes down. But yeah, I think you do take violent vengeance with massive overkill here. So what are you choosing for that release trigger?
Sorry, I'm not sure. Don't I just say that? And don't I just say vengeful? Get back at someone who's wronged you with massive overkill?
Yeah, when you trigger the release move, you can clear your stress track, clear a condition, or mark XP with the fact.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. Clear my stress track, clear a condition.
I just want to be vengeful. I don't even need the bribery the system has in place for me.
He led her on like wormed his way into her confidence when all along he intended to betray her. That was, oh, what a complete bastard. So I'm gonna mark an XB. I think I'm still stressed out. I've still got, like, this is not gonna clear my stress here. I'm gonna go ahead and take, you know what? I will take another advance with XP with the West. And that actually gets me to the gain a handler advance.
Nice. That suggests to me that when we pick up next time, we're going to get to see you and your hand at the top of the session.
Yeah. Yeah. And very explicitly, like, I am leaving his body like just like in the middle of the alley. This is like not making any effort to like do any kind of cleaner thing or anything like that. Like, I want this. Like, this is a sending a message with this.
Yeah, we'll see how that message is received. Deirdre, before we wrap, any last image of Deirdre, because we might have you for only this one session, so I just want to check in. Anything you want to establish about where our poor haunted afflicted went next, or what she got up to?
Yeah, I've got a final image for Deirdre.
Yeah.
This is the last we see of her. I think it's back at her apartment. She's run all the way to her apartment, and she like comes in, slams the door behind her. That's when she can finally breathe. She reaches in her coat and takes out like a bunch of paper napkins and just starts furiously dabbing away at all the ink that's staining her face. And like to calm herself down, she kind of like roots around her apartment, and it's run down, and it's it's typically messy. There's like a desk full of like papers and a conspiracy board.
Of course, you got one of those.
Yeah, and I think she takes out her tape recorder and just kind of like her hands are still shaking, and she starts like talking into it. And I think she says she addresses all her tape recordings to her gone friend.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I think the we only hear the first couple sentences of this like monologue she's about to say, but she goes, "Dear Emma, it's been a day and a half. Maria seems to think I want to help these ghosts out of the goodness of my own heart, but really I just want to be left alone. I just really want to be left alone. And I think she most of the time they just want simple things. Sometimes they don't. But and I think she kind of like stops and looks out the window at old dirty Vienna and Benedict Boggins offer / warning / threat.
Yeah.
Still reverberating in her mind. And I think the last thing we'll see is like she goes up to the curtain. We see a shot of like her looking out the windows, and then she reaches out just outside the frame of the window and closes the blinds. And like that's kind of like the final shot we'll see for now.
Absolutely. All right, very good. Thank you all for playing tonight. We'll be back next week with more Checkpoint Midnight, more fallout from everything we've been getting up to here in Vienna. But in the meantime, if you've been watching with us, thanks for joining in, and have a good one all.